I think I'm live. Every week, I tell you, every week. It's always a, am I live? Hey there. Welcome to Live with Heidi Mine. I'm going to check that the live is up on Facebook and YouTube. So go grab your favorite drink and then we will get started. So just like last week, I'm going to be leaning forward a little bit. But I feel like I'm a little bit more prepared this week. Perhaps. Come on, refresh. Maybe not. My channel. Okay. Oh, looks like I am live. You get that up close and personal. And we're gonna mute that. Oh. There we go. Okay. And live on, right on. Okay, so for just a second, I am going to close out of those chats so that I can see my script, and then we will get going with all of the fun I have planned for tonight. So what is up, homies? It's Heidi. I am a work-at-home handmade business owner at HeidiMine.com, as well as a homeschool mom of 11 and 13-year-old girls. I go live on Facebook and YouTube on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific. During the live, I share about things going on with my business, homeschooling, and our personal lives. Be sure to follow on Facebook or subscribe on YouTube to get notifications when I post videos or go live, and feel free to like or hit the thumbs up button, as this helps people just like you see the videos and come hang out. If you are joining me live tonight, please comment with #live. If you are watching on the replay, go ahead and comment with #replay. Not only does this let me know when people are watching, it lets me know if I need to change things up, like times or days of the week or whatever. And if you aren't already subscribed, be sure to check the pinned link to sign up for the email list to get updates about new products, blog posts, sales, and other fun things going on. And I will pin that link in YouTube in just a minute, just because it's hard for me to see all the things. Sarah Jane is live. Hi, Sarah Jane. So I did try to post a little bit on social media today, and I sent out an email so that people will know that I'm live. I don't know if that's going to help. Here goes YouTube doing the things. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I do have plans to get back on track with my recorded content for September. I may have a video up for tomorrow. I'm trying to have a video up for tomorrow. I have some unboxings recorded. And in September, I will be changing things up just a little bit. Me Time Delivered. If you've ever watched my channel before, you know that I have done some unboxings for Me Time Delivered for their collectible Christmas subscription, which I get. I pay for on my own. It's not a paid subscription. They are doing a little bit of a challenge for people that have gotten the subscription to go ahead and stitch those out. And we all know, maybe we don't know, for the record, I am the world's greatest procrastinator. It is my favorite hobby. So I am going to take that little challenge and finish all of my unboxings. I will be posting those 2 at a time for the Thursdays in September. I might sprinkle in some of the sketch boxes that we've gotten that I have not gotten around to posting. And then I will also be posting videos of stitching out the collectible Christmas for September and in October, because I have not started any of them, and there are 12. And I haven't gotten September or October yet. So I'll do those in October when I get them. I also have an advent calendar from Me Time Delivered, or Kimberbell. I guess these are all Kimberbell. So I'm thinking about doing that in October, November. And I have a whole bunch of Kimberbell Bella boxes, and I will be getting another one in October. And so I think I'm going to be doing some of those, not only the unboxing, but the Stitch With Me videos. So I'm going to sprinkle those in along with other content that I am trying to get done and posted. So I am going to switch my camera view. Tonight, the cameras are going to take over. And there's this cute little function on my cameras. I have 3 cameras. They're Mevo. And with the phone app, it's supposed to be able to switch the view on the cameras without me doing it. Because I'm gonna try to show you how I make orders during my busy season. I am full on ready for fall, for Halloween, for all the things that are not summer. I have my Stirring the Pot Since Birth t-shirt on that I made. That will be available for purchase on the website this weekend. If you're not on the email list, be sure to get on that email list, because I have a huge upload of items coming to the website. There will be a few things going to Etsy, but I think I'm going to keep my sales strictly to the website. Etsy is literally killing me with those fees, and I just I can't afford it. I can't afford to offer a sale on top of paying the fees to be on Etsy. So that's a bummer. But hopefully people will see the videos, subscribe, or whatever, social media posts, whatever, subscribe to the email list, and they'll get that information that things will be on sale. So I'm going to switch the camera views, and I have 2 machines set up tonight. These are both of my single needle machines. I have a Baby Lock Flourish 2, and I call that one Flow. And the other one is a Baby Lock, I forget what that one's called. I forget what it's called, and I forget what I call it, because I don't actually talk to them. But if I did, they do have names. So when I go over to it, then I know that there's something on it that'll tell me what it's called. And then I'll remember, and then I'll be like, oh yeah. Oh, I call it Ric Flair. That's what it is. It's a Baby Lock Flair embroidery machine. And I grew up in the 80s watching wrestling. And so I called it Ric Flair. So I'm a dork like that. And I'll talk about a few things with the machines as well. These are both what they call single needle at home embroidery machines. They are not my big commercial machine. I have to do some tension tests on that bad boy. Her name is Red. And then once I get her tension steady, then I can start doing some videos with that machine. But that one is really, really super, super loud. It's like hammers. So that one might only be recorded video so that you guys don't have to listen to the hammering noise. So yeah, I am going to switch the view. Yeah, it's telling me that it stopped recording, but I know that I'm still live, so that's all that's important. All right, so we're going to go into Auto Director, and we're going to turn that on. Let's see what it does. All right. And it looks like I had to manually switch it. Okay. So I think it's going to change like every 30-ish seconds, 36 seconds. I don't know. It's like a weird, oh, I got some funny lights going on. Ah! Stay a while, Mr. Light. Okay, I'm gonna have to do something real quick because I need to get to my machine and I couldn't do that. Oh. I don't know what it's doing. All right, I need to be able to see things. Okie dokie. So this machine here is my Baby Lock Flourish, or Flow as I call it. I already have the design programmed in. This one I'm going to be making a sugar skull mask. Please forgive my nails, it is about that time. So the design is already loaded. I already have my white thread, and I'm going to put the presser foot down, and I'm going to stitch. This is a placement stitch, so this is going to show me, it's not supposed to show you my chair. I'm just going to turn that camera off for a minute. Okay, so that basically shows me where it's going to put, where I'm going to put my felt or fabric for the mask. So ahead of time, I went ahead and I cut out some felt, and there's really no like specific right or wrong way. We're just going to keep on this camera right now. But sometimes there is one side of the felt that I like better than the other. So the first thing this guy is going to do is stitch a nose. But I got all of my supplies ready ahead of time. So I'm going to switch machines while this guy is going. Now on Ric Flair over here, I also have a design loaded. I don't know if you can see that. This is going to be a puppy dog mask or bulldog mask. So again, I'm going to go ahead and stitch out that placement line. This one you should be able to see a little better where the stitches go. So this will, the cameras are going to switch back and forth right now on their own for a little while. But sometimes I'm going to have to switch them manually because I want to show you something over here. So this is a sheet of felt. I think most places call it cashmere. It's just kind of a tan color. I don't normally buy 9x12 sheets. I buy them by the bolt because they're cheaper that way, because I can get those wholesale. And then I cut them into strips that are 9-inch, and then I cut them down from there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this down, and this is going to stitch some little decorative to make it look like ear flaps. Over on Flow, I am going to change thread because we are going to stitch some decorative eyes over here. Eventually I'll have these cameras positioned a little better because you can't see as much on this hoop as I want you to. But when it stitches the other eye, you'll see it a little better. Okay. And then over at my puppy dog mask, this has a little applique in the center. So I just changed my thread to white, and it's going to sew the spot where I'm going to put the applique. I'm going to switch back to flow for a minute. So I have this baby color because this particular mask is going to have applique where the eyes are. So that's going to stitch down. So every time I'm layering, this is called floating. Alright, and then sometimes what I do is I'm always trying to be as frugal as possible. I could have laid that piece of felt out long ways, but I'm going to lay it out this way because I get more use out of that felt later on. So now this is going to stitch down the applique. And if you have any questions, I do have the screens up behind me so I can see them. So I just keep walking back and forth. But this is literally what I do during Halloween when I am making masks for sale. I will be running at least 2 machines at any given time. Usually I'm running all 3 because I run different things in different machines. Close to the same time, which is always fun. So I'm going to switch the camera over to flow for a minute because what I have to do is I have to cut this away or the stitches will go on top of that glue and I don't want them to. So I take these handy dandy scissors and I just do a very simple rough cut. It doesn't have to be perfect for this step. It just has to be out of the way so that when I do my other stitches that they don't stitch on top of this. Because once the stitches go down, it is not fun to take the stitches back out. Okay. So there's that. And you know what I forgot to do is to load the picture of the actual thing. So let me get into Etsy real quick so I can make sure that I am doing the right colors. I believe, sorry, I can't switch cameras while I'm changing out threads. Oops. Okay, so let me get back to Mevo. Okay, so I changed it to a hot pink and I've got that going and that's going to stitch. And now I'm going to come back over here. Now for this one, I don't know if you can see, this did not, there's no stitch point here. So I'm going to cut along this part first. And I think I'm just going to leave that uncut at the bottom because I believe that is the bottom of the mask. No. So I would love to tell you where I got these mask designs, but I'm not going to because I just noticed a stitch flaw and these drive me insane. But it is what it is. for this mask here, when this mask was designed, it should not stitch the nose before, it should stitch the nose before it stitches the back, but whoever did this was clearly in a hurry and they have the nose as the last step. I don't love that because you're going to see the stitches, but I don't have a choice because I can't redo it. So I'm going to take my other piece of felt and I'm going to float this on the back. And put this down. So firstly, we're going to put the gold thread back in, and it is going to stitch out the final steps. Bring you back over here. So I've got the gold thread in. It's going to actually stitch out the final step of the main part of the mask. So it's going to stitch around the outline and then the eye holes and then little holes for the mask elastic to go through. Put it back over there. I'm going to change thread on my sugar skull mask. And it's going to stitch the little flower right here. So the nice thing about these particular machines is the hoop size. These go up to a 6x10 hoop size, which is nice. The hoop that's in right now is called a 5x7. It does not stitch the whole 5x7 inches, but it's what they call a hoop. And these both have automatic cutters. So when the thread is done stitching, it will automatically cut for me and not do a jump stitch. On shorter lengths, it has a jump stitch. And a jump stitch just means that the needle stops stitching and then it jumps to the next spot without cutting, and then I have to cut it later. And those aren't usually very fun, so I like it when the machine does it for me. I want to say both machines cost a little over $2,000 each. Maybe they were right around $2,000 each. So not the most expensive machines. And for all of the features, I think that they're definitely worth it. So on the little bulldog mask here, I'm going to change the thread. It's going to stitch out the final parts of this white area. If I can, oops. I could have set up the camera on the other side, I guess. change for my sugar skull. This one I'm going to have to pay attention to a little bit as I keep going because it doesn't stitch in any of it. There's an order that it stitches in, and it wouldn't be the order I would have done it in. And we are almost done with our little bulldog here. I'm going to go ahead and put in some black thread for our nose. Like Toucan Sam says, follow your nose. It always knows. Machines are when you're walking. So this is the part, ooh, we're going to stop for a second. So there was a little white thread here, and it has now wrapped itself around the dresser foot, and if I wouldn't have cut that, it will actually tear the mask out. So it's really why you have to pay attention when you're doing any kind of machine embroidery. So this is going to keep sewing that nose. And I'll show you when it's done what it looks like on the back side. I don't love the way it's going to look, but again, I don't have the software and stuff to fix that. Maybe someday. Okay, so remember which order that goes. The way that it shows the pictures on the machine, and everybody cross your fingers that that is correct, because I like to go rogue and sew my own colors, and that I should make some notes actually about what colors I'm using. Really fun things, like they both finish at the same time. Okay, so before I take the little bulldog out, I'm gonna go ahead and change the thread on my sugar skull here. Let's see, we're gonna do light pink, I think. Sorry, I had to walk over. I ended up bringing it up on my computer so that I don't mess up anything else. Let's see where it's going. Yes, that looks looks like it's in the right spot. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to switch back to this little bulldog here. I'm calling it an English bulldog, so that's that guy there. And you can see on the back here, all of this thread. This should be covered by the felt. If this was digitized properly, that's where it would be. However, the person who digitized this didn't do that, so now I'm stuck with this. Which is fine. I mean, nobody else knows the difference. It's something that I learned because I used to test for embroidery designs, but it just, so I knew that the sugar skull was going to take me a hot minute, so I actually have a tail that I'm going to be making. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this here, close that down. Okay. And away we go. My cattails are some of my most popular items in my shop. They have been for years. They're actually kind of fun to make. I don't love making the smaller size tails, the 5x7s, because they're kind of difficult to turn, but comme ci, comme ça. Which I think is so in French. Terrible in French. Okay, so now with this tail, this is actually made using fleece, and I've got a big piece of fleece here. When I do the tails, I like them to stretch sideways on the tail, not up and down. I've done this for a long time, and when I do them the up and down way, I just don't like the way they look. It stretches them out. And then again, there's not really a specific right or wrong to fleece, but I tend to like the more softer looking side, so that's what I'm going to use. I would definitely recommend cutting this down to a smaller size if anyone else in the world was doing this, but since it's me, I'm just going to do what I do. So this step is going to tell me where to put my little clip. Oh, I'm hitting the thread stand. That's not good. Okay. Let me putting black thread over here for Little Miss Sugar Skull. We're going to press play, and I'm going to slightly move. Oh, that was loud. Slightly move this here. So now what I'm going to do, normally I use felt for this, but I couldn't find orange felt tonight, so I did fleece. So I just take this little piece of fleece, like a strap. This way is not stretchy. I have a suspender clip. And this is going to go just like that. And then do not ever put your fingers in here. It is a very, very bad idea. I have seen lots of people with yucky pictures on Facebook. So what I do is I lift this all the way back up and I kind of slide the fleece under. If I was using my multi-needle machine, it wouldn't make a difference. The multi-needle presser foot goes up much higher, but for these little single needles, it doesn't. So I just kind of push this in here, flatten it back out, and then press start. Oh, you can't even see what I'm doing. All right, let's do this again. So I lift my needle, I lift my presser foot, and I moved this little thing over, and then I push it back down, because this way it will actually stitch. What you doing? I don't know what it's doing. It's decided that it doesn't like me right now. There we go. Oops. Should have just left it. Okay, so it did stitch that down. So that's my little whatchamahoos. Okay. And then we are going to cover it back up. With fleece. And I just make sure, I can't really see what I'm doing, so I make sure to feel it and then it's all flat. And I'm going to do this in just a second. I'm going to switch back over to Sugar Skull for a minute because we are at the final step for this. No, not final step, almost final step. We are at the step where we're going to float our felt, the other F word, and it is going to stitch out all of the white thread pieces. And I could do this mask in other colors. Eventually, maybe I will. We're going to go ahead and start that. And I'm going to switch it over here for just a minute. And actually, I want to take it off of, not that, I want to take it off of this little auto director. Okay, so I have this folded over. The right sides are together. The foot is going to go down, and then it's going to stitch. And I really watch this step because with this little suspender clip in here, it likes to give me trouble on occasion. So again, I don't ever recommend putting your fingers in the machine. I'm a highly trained professional. Don't do what I do. Okay, so it's starting to like lift this fleece, so I'm gonna kind of do this. I actually prefer to make tails on my multi-needle machine because it doesn't press the fabric down so hard. I think there's a way to lift my presser foot. I haven't really figured it out. Stop! Oh, what are you doing? You're way over there. Okay. Is that where you're supposed to be? Yes, it is. Alright. So I'm watching where this metal suspender clip is because I don't want my machine to hit that. I can maneuver some of the fleece out of the way if it stitches like a little pleat or something, but if it hits that suspender clip, then it breaks my needle, it makes my alignment all crazy, it does all kinds of not so fun things. So once it's gone through the first time, it's good to go as the rest of the way. That suspender clip is out of the way. We're going to switch back over. Oh, you can't even see her. I'll just keep it on the tail for now. Okay, so now we are at our final step on the Sugar Skull mask. And this is going to stitch the eye holes. And I have to change the thread because we want the thread to match that pretty blue fabric. And my thread broke on my tail, so let's fix that. Excuse me. And again, both machines are pretty much timed to stop at the same time. So we have our Sugar Skull mask And we have our tail over here. And I'm going to shut some cameras off. For just a second, I'm going to leave that tail going or on because I had to turn off one of my other cameras. So you can see it took me, well, it's 7:40. I'm not sure exactly what time I started, but I would say that it was probably after 7:15, 7:10. It saves me a lot of time when I already have things prepared. So like today, I already had all of my fleece and felt cut. I had all my threads pulled and ready. So I was doing the thing. All right, I'm going to turn off this machine and I am going to switch cameras in just a second. I just have to plug a light back in. Eventually this room will be all set up so that this is a little bit more streamlined. But for right now, it is what it is. Where's the plug for my light? Here you are. Okay, so I do apologize because you're not seeing me. I'm not seeing you. Okay. Here I am. All right. So what we have here is this cutie patootie little English Bulldog mask. I'm not going to cut these out on camera because it would just, the cameras aren't set up for me to cut these right now. So you'd either be looking at me looking down or it would be a really weird angle. And then we have our sugar skull mask. And you can see the back of this is perfectly perfect. That you don't see, I mean, you kind of might see the stitching through the felt because it's white, but it's not anywhere near the face. So that's what I prefer. And then the tail is this guy right here. And then what I do is, this is tear away. So I literally tear it away. Normally I like to cut it first, but it does tear away. For the masks, it stays in. It gives them a little bit of structure. But for the tails, I completely tear this off. So it will be completely removed. And then I stuff it with polyester fiberfill. And they're really fun. I love making them. But again, the 5x7s, those are a little bit more difficult because I wish they would have been made a little bit wider. They're kind of narrow. So basically the little clip fits very snug in between the stitches. So I really have to, like those I have to watch on my machine, and I usually have to tape down the suspender clip to make sure that it stays in place, which makes it a bear when I want to try to turn the tail the right way. Because like with the masks, these will have raw edges. It's just the raw cut edge. That's the edge of the mask. It is what it is. You don't turn these or anything. And it's fine because felt is very soft, so it's not a big deal. With the tails, some of my tails are made the same way where it's the raw edge, but with the cat tails, I turn those so that you don't see that raw edge because it just looks nicer. So those 5x7s are already a pain to turn. And then if I have to tape down the suspender clip, I have to try to pull the tape out before I turn the tail. It's a whole hot mess. Maybe I'll do some recording. Well, I'll do more recording as I am filling more orders. I actually got a sale for a 5x7 cattail about 10 minutes before my live. So I thought that was funny, but I didn't have any of the fabrics pulled and I didn't have the file pulled. So I didn't want to try to throw that in there. But that's what I do during the Halloween season. This is what I do. I have done this. I didn't do it last year, but I can't remember if I did masks in 2014, but I know I was doing them in 2015. So for 6 years, I sold masks for Halloween time. Over the years, I started selling more accessories to the masks. So I started adding in the tails. I do a cat tail, a dog tail, a beaver tail, a gecko tail, which is very small and people always complain about it. So I don't think it's going to make the Etsy cut. I always put all of my measurements into the listings. So everything is on the listing and it says all the details about measurements and whatnot. And the gecko tail, for some reason, people will literally put in reviews that they only give it 3 or 4 stars because even though they read the review, they wish it came in a bigger size. And I don't understand reviews like that. You knew what size it was going to come in, and then you weren't happy because you couldn't get it in a different size that it wasn't available in. So my machines can only do so much. Like my biggest hoop, because I happened to hang it up today. I don't know, is this gonna, boop, does that fit in the frame? I want to say this is like a 14 by 20, 16 by 20. I think it's 14 by 20. And I do some really big tails in that, but it's still, the gecko tail is, it's troublesome. I forget where I left off. I do have a chipmunk tail and possibly a raccoon tail that I will be doing this year. Again, maybe not for Etsy because they take a lot. Some of them take a lot of time. The raccoon and the chipmunk, there's a lot of fabric piecing. So even though people think, oh, but your machine does it for you. It sews it, but it doesn't cut all of the strips of fabric and it doesn't lay it in place and it doesn't watch to make sure that it's all stitching properly. So there's that. I also do wings. I think this year I'm only offering owl wings. They are a top seller for me, or as Etsy calls them, a bestseller. I've done excellent with owl wings for quite a few years. They're a lot of fun to make. They were made popular by PJ Masks with Owlette because even though they don't really look like Owlette, they're designed to look similar. So that way I'm not infringing on any trademark things. But in the future, I do hope to have more wings. I do have files. Oh, I do have Pegasus wings. Those will probably be on the website and not on Etsy also because they're a little plain. So yeah, either way. But I do have, like, I have bumblebee wings and the bug, not the bug. Yes, the insect, not the car, the transformer bumblebee. I have some ladybug wings, some different types of fairy wings. I think I have some dragon wings and possibly some bat wings. I don't know. I haven't made them. I bought them years ago. I bought the files and then I just never really did anything with them. The wings are a little harder to make. They are more wear on the single needle machines. So I really try to keep those to the big machine. Also because they have a thick layer of stabilizer. It's because the wings stand up on their own. They don't fold flat. They're not really like flexible, so to speak. So I think that's it. That's what I do. And of course, this is just my Halloween time stuff that I do. There's a whole lot of other things that I do that are not this. But some of the people that I purchase designs from, they have requested that I not do sew-alongs, which I respect. one of the companies in particular, I absolutely love buying from them, and I have no intention of ever doing things that they don't want me to do. So you might see those in a recorded video where I can cut certain pieces out. I'm sure I will be able to do those in YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels and TikToks. So that will be fun. So yeah, that's what I do. I went out to lunch. I'm trying to get to my script again, so I'm gonna lean in. I went out to lunch with one of my high school besties last weekend, last Saturday. And we were talking about, somehow we got on the subject of body image, and I had actually started to write a whole thing about body image that I was going to talk about tonight. But I didn't end up doing that because first of all, I never finished my train of thought, and it's dangerous when I'm left without a script. But I didn't know if that's what I wanted to talk about on YouTube. So we'll see. We'll see if that shows up at a later date. But I do think it's something important. And as a woman and as a mom of girls, I think that, and as someone who is attempting to be a YouTuber, I mean, let's be honest, there are a lot of very adorable, teeny tiny framed YouTubers that have like these amazing numbers. They have amazing subscribers. They have amazing viewership. So there is a little bit at the back of my head sometimes that says, oh, Heidi, if you were thinner, you'd have more followers. You blah, blah, blah. But it is definitely, you know, it's a body image thing. It's it is what it is. And I've discussed before that I am not at the weight that I want to be at, and I am working towards being at a more healthy, I don't even want to say a more healthy weight, although that is what it is. But I definitely want to be more healthy, or have a more healthy lifestyle. So I might talk about that sometime in the future. We'll see. Especially like around Christmas time, when I feel like we're all trying to go to events and things, and we want to dress really nice, and we just don't feel comfortable in the clothing that is provided. That's never fun. So I am going to be doing some sew with me videos where I make clothing for myself. Because actually, even when I am at a weight that I feel comfortable with, clothes do not fit me properly because I still have a large bust, whether I am 130 pounds or 180 pounds or whatever weight that I am, I have a large bust. It doesn't change a whole lot. So in order to fit things without being skin tight, then yeah, I have to make my own clothes, which I do like making my own clothes. So that's a whole lot of fun. The kids and I also have been invited to another family wedding that will be at the end of October, and it is going to be a Halloween theme. And we have been told that we could wear costumes if we so choose. So, and they're being encouraged. And they said taco bar, and I'm like, I'm there. But I still have the patterns and fabric for our Dickens Fair costumes that we did not have time to make last year. So I may make those this year and wear my own to the wedding because it's a little bit steampunk, but it could be Halloween-ish as a costume. And then I can wear it to the Dickens Fair, and then I feel justified in spending money on something that, you know, I'm only going to wear once or twice. So I can't see comments right now because I exited that screen. So if you are commenting, I will check those out a little bit later. But I want to say thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you haven't already, be sure to give this video a like or a thumbs up. follow or subscribe, and comment with #live or #replay. All of these interactions not only help to push the videos out to more people that would enjoy them, they help me know what content you are enjoying the most. And you can always feel free to leave a comment if there is something that you would like me to discuss during a live or a recorded video. Let me know, and I will do my best to get to that as quickly as possible. So I will check you out later. Until next time.